Welcome to your monthly Fire Tribe report. I'll be right back. All right. Yo, Aries, Leo, Sag. I started this a little bit earlier, so I don't know if our usual 3 p.m. crowd is not going to be here. Was that an orchestrated thing or a personal attack from this dude? What are you talking about, bro? A personal attack from who? Let me know. Shout out to Susie P. Shout out to Janarian. It's nice to see you, bro. Crystallized Geo, Markel. You already know what it is. Island Girl Intuitive. Woo! Of course, all of the tribe reports this month are going to be available. Normally, the air sign would be free, but it's all going to be here. Devin, if you show up here, if I see you here, I'm going to play that song at the end of this live. But hopefully we see you on other tribe reports. I know I started this a bit earlier, like I said before. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Shall we? This is, of course, the air sign houses. The air sign evokes the air houses for fire. Gemini is Aries' third house of mindset, attitude, communication. It's Leo's 11th house of entourage and true friends, true belonging. And it is Sagittarius's house of open enemies. Gemini is Sag's op, but also partner, the house of partnerships. So if you're Sag rising, especially Sag sun, you are harvesting. All right. So we're going to get into that. Shout out to the fire signs. I see Golden Jewel Supreme. I got your live reading request. I think you made it yesterday. Shout out to those of you who do it early because you get a discount before the live starts. So we're going to do you immediately after we finish with that. And this is the series with which, shout out to those of you on Instagram who are joining us. 9 Cubes, I see you. Weaving Dow, Sag, Sun, Moon, Mercury. Okay. We got the fire out here. Okay, there we go. So yeah, before we get started with Aries. All right, you know what? I'm gonna do that later. Before we get started with Aries, let us just take stock once again of where we at. Mars is in Leo. Shout out to the Fire Gang. We see you, Essence of Lala Sweets. Venus is in Aries. Okay. And we have this, I won't consider it a stellium, but we do have this grouping in Gemini. All right. I want to bring your attention to this 27-degree space between Uranus and Jupiter. And then the Gemini placements in between. Yeah. Talk about innovation and evolution. It's all happening. The brain processing of Mercury, the conscious awareness of the sun, and the subconscious reflection of the moon is all in between Uranus and Jupiter. Shout out to you, Olympia. We are just getting started. All right. For those of you who have just joined, welcome. And let's get this show on the road. We're going to start with Aries. Aries, which we know is very scary. Okay. Aries, congratulations for how far you've come. You've been touching the top 5 list every year. And I can say, I think this year and next year, you're going to be back on the list. Okay. As we will mention tomorrow, Taurus has been running the top 5 list every year since 2018, which is so amazing because they were never really top 5 like that. Like Taurus was never really like on the list like that. And then boom, 2018, DJ Academics, Mr. Beast, Candace Owens, like Tucker Carlson, like y'all came through. Especially 2020, they've been topping it. This might be their last year. Aries, you have Saturn and Neptune here. Okay, so we're gonna definitely be seeing more of a redefinition of you. Pisces, beyond diabolical Pisces, has passed the torch. Lord knows they've been going through it. And now you have their OG, and you have Capricorn's OG that's in its fall in your sign. Okay. Saturn in Aries is like your grandpa or your grandma teaching you math. And it's like, that's not the right answer. Get it right. No, I told you it was this. It's just like kind of impatient. You know what I'm saying? Aries is already impatient, and you're putting Saturn or structure there. So I know there's people with Saturn and Aries. Y'all be way too hard on yourselves. Like y'all feel like a Saturn in Capricorn will do this too, or they'll feel like, oh, I haven't accomplished enough. But Saturn in Aries, y'all feel like you have to accomplish everything yesterday. It's like, fuck, I didn't foreclose on a home. And I haven't graduated high school yet. Like, chill, like, relax. Like, please don't try and grow up too fast. Like, let yourself turn 30. Okay. Like, please don't be that Saturn Aries that's like, I didn't make Forbes 30. I didn't make Forbes list before I was 30. Nobody fucking cares. Like, I'm not saying to be not to be an overachiever, but like, please do not push yourself unreasonably hard. Push yourself, but please do not be impatient with your own development, because when it comes to timing, like the whole Saturn and Aries lesson is to teach you that there is no deadline to success. And you might have been around people and influences who lied to you, who gave you the impression that there's a finish line that's supposed to be done. You want to focus more on completion than getting it done at a certain time, especially the Saturn Aries wave. Like, this new round of Saturn Aries since 95 and since or really since the 60s, y'all want to achieve everything before your Saturn return. Like, you're crazy. Like, that's not how that shit works, fam. Like, you're gonna come into accomplishments beforehand, but like, allow yourself to step into this return. It is your friend. Okay. I don't think that applies to everybody, but yeah, y'all are a very powerful Saturn dynamic. And for the Aries sun, moons, and risings, this is something you could fall into the temptation of. Okay. Saturn in Aries is redefining individual rights, shifting the authority that individual states and nation states have, and what the face of it is, and how much more disciplined everybody expresses their identity. But as Aries, you are Aries rising, you're embodying this. Aries moon, you're a vessel of this. Aries sun, you're the conduit of this. You're aware of this karmic power, this authority. Okay. Especially with Chiron. So for those of you with Aries placements tapping into Chiron, okay, this is putting you in a position to trigger the bejesus out of people. And that's where Venus, that's going to cross over Chiron this season, is going to have you embody and express this redefinition of original beauty, original Aries beauty, Venus, and this new cycle with Chiron that, if you're an Aries rising, could really heal the way a new makeover gives more courage, right? It's going to establish a new cycle of self-healing as it applies to your interpersonal relationships with others, albeit unlike a Venus in Libra, which is more other focused or altruistic. This is you really showing up yourself and really leading forward yourself. All right. I wouldn't want to say selfish as much as self-focused. All right. But I mean, selfish in and of itself isn't really as bad. All right. So be mindful of that. The Chiron and Aries, your authenticity will rub people off more the wrong way. Aries, like Gemini land, Aries and Gemini are very known for not allowing themselves to conform, not allowing themselves to be manipulated or influenced by societal or collective thought. And that's what opens us up to disrespect, because it's like when we don't add to other people's value in a way that makes us compromise to who we're not, you start to see people act bitch made. They start to act like they start to act stupid. Okay. And then they take their stupidity out on you. And then you get angry. And then they call you the villain. I see how they do you, Aries. Saturn in Scorpio is a more social karmic assignment. If your Saturn is in Leo to Scorpio, you have social karma. You're held account. You're holding society accountable, amongst other things. But that being said, Aries, this is a very important Gemini season for you, gang. Okay, because not only is this beginning to really settle in Saturn and Neptune in your sign, you are leading and pioneering a whole new 30-year era. And unlike the 90s, where Neptune was in Capricorn, coming into Aquarius, well, now 30 years later, it's in Aries. It's come out of Pisces into Aries. So, it's very important. The last time you were prevalent like this was 2010 to 2018. We know 2010 to 2018, you had Uranus in your sign. Okay. And that was where you guys were pioneering this unconventional light, right? It was during this period I became the peace dealer. If you think the peace dealer is like a very radical expression, I like to call Uranus and Aries like your super self. You know what I mean? That's because Libras are finessers. You guys are the top 3 finessers in the zodiac, next to Pisces and Taurus. All y'all do is finesse other people. But I get it. Venus has a lot of beauty industries. So it's cool. I'm not even trying to hate. Let me not hate. Libra, we love you. You're my favorite sign when it's not Sag. I love you. It's cool. That being said, I hope this sounds like I'm doing shade. But yes, you feel me? It's very powerful because a lot of the actions that you take, especially if you're Aries rising, Aries sun, Saturn on the rising and the sun, you feel me, will feel like Rock Lee wearing those weight jackets, wearing weight, right? It's an establishment of responsibility that's akin to starting a new business and getting it off the ground. So unlike Jupiter that can kind of blow someone up, going through the rising, you could get more chubby or fat. Saturn is going to buckle you down. It's going to add a lot more responsibility just being yourself. Okay. And that's why I wanted to bring Uranus into the question, because that was the last major transit that you had. Okay. That put you in a position to peaceful vibes. No offense. You look like you're talking to yourself in the chat. I have no idea who you're talking about, what you're talking about. Just letting you know, you look crazy right now. But that being said, yes, this is going to have you move forward with more boldness. So the 2010 to 2018 transit with Uranus had you move forward more innovative. It had you move forward more unconventionally. Then we had 2023 with Jupiter, 2022, 2023. Jupiter went into Aries for that short year. You pioneered this new 12-year cycle of evolution from 2023 to 2035, when it would be back in your sign. After you expanded this awareness, understanding, embodiment of your authenticity, right? Of your identity, then the North Node 2024 came through your sign. This expansion of the authentic direction you take yourself towards. No worry, peaceful. I just want to make sure you're okay. The North Node now unlocked with this expanded identity what direction you're meant to move in. So like, I want to kind of show you how everything Aries, because Aries, you are a central character, whether you're a heel or an anti-hero. You, Leo, and Sag are, I'm not going to say Sag, but you and Leo are central characters. Sagittarius is a whole wild card and they're a plot device. But Leo is the main character. Aries, you're like a foil or the villain or the anti-hero. Y'all are very important central characters. The plot follows you and Leo in very interesting ways. When Sagittarius figures out what they want to be, like they're an entire wild card, so they can just change the story. Don't tell them that I said that though; they'll tell you that I'm hating. The wild card is a very awesome character though. Don't get it twisted. The wild card could make or break the story. It's and that's what I love about it. It's like a gamble, like a Jupiterian. It's a risk that, you know. But that being said, based on how the writer wrote it, but yeah, Aries. Let's kind of go back and look. I kind of want to show you. So 9 years ago, we had, of course, Uranus go through your sign. Okay. After that, of course, we had Chiron enter your sign, right? Chiron came through, and then what do we know? We had Jupiter come through, and then what do we know? We had the North Node come through. And now what do we know? We have Neptune and, of course, the Sun, Saturn. So Aries, there has been major construction being worked on you because you are the portal through which everyone individually marks their authenticity. That is the light you represent. When you stand in that authenticity and integrity, you're a hero, an anti-hero. When you, of course, fall to darkness or you use that light out of integrity, you're the villain. All right. It's purely your decision. Sometimes you're typecast as the villain by society, even though you're not doing anything villainous. That's one of the tricks of being Aries. It's maintaining that authenticity, even if society labels you a villain, because you're that authentic light. The rest of individuals may be, even if society has compromised itself. So it does work both ways, right? When the individual compromises itself, society must put it in check. When society is compromised, it's the individuals that have to put society and the collective in check. And that's how we have this balance from Aries to Libra, Capricorn, and Cancer. So yeah, it's important to kind of set that out. It's not just the Gemini season where, of course, you're going to be communicating, you're going to be understanding what mindset. We're going to talk about that, but it's important to understand you, Aries, are one of the three pillars. So transits for Aquarius, transits for Aries, and transits for Geminis moving forward are going to be extremely significant. All right. And shout out to Zapdos. It's definitely, I think you, Aries, are the central, like the air placements are going to be your support, but it's centered around you, Aries. Okay. And we're redefining the wheel here. So it's important to go back to the 90s. It's important to go back to the 60s. I think it was in Aries like 67, if not like the early 60s. I know it was in Aquarius 62. So that means it was in Pisces 65. So I would say 67, and then 1995, and now 2025. Study those dates, study those cycles. You'll get a world of answers, literally, literally. But that being said, now with Neptune and Aries, that hasn't been here since America's first civil war, you know, since the 1800s. There is a dissolvement and a reimagination of your personality that is forcing you to really shift the nature of, with Chiron in Aries, how much more you surrender to facets of yourself that maybe have been hard to believe, that maybe you have struggled with accepting your whole life. All right. And this is going to really, through this surrender, which is good. I mean, Neptune's going to be here till 2037. So you got Neptune for like 14, 13 years. So it's going to do a number on you. And unlike Pisces, which is used to Neptune, this could feel emasculating, especially with Chiron. It could feel like the ego, the machismo, whether you're a man or woman, the flair that you used to get through, it can almost work against you. And that's where Saturn is going to really begin to buckle up, lock you in, and really construct this brave new world order of integrity, of authenticity, of individual rights. You guys are going to be pioneering what that looks like, how we stand up for that. All right. Now, with Pluto in your 11th house, this is also a 20-year chapter of awakening your gang. This is a gang initiation. Some of you will be jumping off the porch. It doesn't matter how old you are. And why that's important, where the Lord of Underworld in your 11th is, it will introduce you to more underworld themes through your social circle of friends, but it will also awaken a quality of healing with your social circle of friends. So it could be your best friend who introduces you to a ceremony. It could be someone, Aquarius is, if you think of Aquarius as the unconventional causal space where you meet aliens, because Aries meet the weirdest people. Aries are going to meet supernatural beings who see who their identity is. I know that sounds weird as fuck. This could be the most normal person, but they have some kind of alien connection. I'm just, at this point, speaking in code. But now Pluto's going to represent this more extreme awakening of this quality. It's going to represent more of a unique ability to, if you think of the past decade, certain people in your corner who were not at your level, who maybe, I won't say at your level, who hadn't awakened or taken seriously certain things you're into, don't be surprised if they start to, especially based off of seeing you be involved in it for so long, or finally being in a position to. Pluto in the 11th is actually an entire conspiracy. So you want to be not a conspiracy theory, it's a conspiracy. Whether it's a conspiracy against you or with you, it depends on you. All right. That being said, that's what now makes, so now that we know we have the 11th house awakening the collective that you belong to, because 11th house Aquarius is not 11th house Gemini. That's the difference between Leo and Aquarius, right? Leo has an individual entourage. Like Leo has individual one-on-one friendships, and they choose who's in their entourage as a rock, right? Aries can be connected with people around the world. And like Leo has fans around the world too. But like Aries is connected to a more celestial collective. That's where they belong. I want to show you the distinction of having your 11th house in a universal sign versus having it in an individual sign. And then Sagittarius has their 11th house in a social sign. Sag is best friends with Libra. They know all the artists, all the performers, right? And so they're clicked up as a universal entity. They're clicked up with the socials. All right. So yeah, knowing that now this extreme quality of higher knowledge is influencing your dynamics with places you feel you belong and people who you feel you belong with. And now there's this greater sense of discipline that you are overcoming or stepping into. That, of course, now brings context to the Uranus getting ready to go into Gemini. Okay. Especially for you progressed Aries risings, if you're born a Pisces rising, Gemini, Mercury, Sun, Moon, Jupiter, and Gemini is the original basis for what it's doing for everyone. It is expanding your skill sets. Ever since last year, where you had begun to actually evolve your third house as an Aries rising, or 60 degrees from your Aries sun or moon. Now, as you can see, we have gone a full 27 degrees. The fuck? We have gone a full 27 degrees into Gemini. So your skills, right? The activation of your mindset and your attitude has leveled up. It has changed. We are, with this new moon, reactivating and seeing how much your vocabulary has shifted. Revisit your mindset from last year, where Uranus and Jupiter in your second house in Taurus as an Aries rising or progressed rising has innovated and evolved the value of your worth, the independent ability for you to make your own money. So now Gemini is going to represent the vocalization of your worth. This is why the third house could represent marketing, because you are expressing and communicating your value and who you are, right? If you think about what marketing is, what am I? What do I have? Why do you want this? That's why people with third house placements thrive in business. They thrive in marketing. They thrive in, trades, exchange, okay, merchandising or being a merchant, anything enterprising. And Jupiter has not only been expanding that for you, it could prepare you for a move. And that's something to look forward to, Aries rising. Some of you are getting ready to move. You may not see it coming, especially with Uranus going into Gemini. It may be, sudden. Once Jupiter goes into Cancer, it's going to expand, okay, the pool of liquidity. It's going to expand and evolve your home space where you feel comfortable in. Some of you may have already moved, all right? But that being said, as this continues through Gemini, in sextiling your rising is redefining this evolution of your mindset and activating this new cycle of the magic words you use relative to how you are programming your attitude and how this aligns with who you're getting ready to become and how trine Aquarius this draws in on this awakening of where you belong. So you're communicating where you belong with the right people. All right. With Mars that's in your fifth, okay? That's a good question. I should look that up. I noticed doing readings for 10 years, reading over thousands of people, literal thousands, 90% plus people who have Jupiter going through their fourth move. Predictably. Like, that's something we can test scientifically. Like, every time Jupiter's transiting their fourth, I ask, are you moving? They just moved. Or they are thinking of moving. And this doesn't happen really to people who aren't going through that, right? Or actually, yeah, it's predictable. So Chiron returns happen every 50 years, 50, 60 years. So I'd have to look into that. I would think it's just more likely that no one would be in the same place for that long. So yeah, that might be, but that's a really good question. That would be interesting to see if that does trigger that. I'm pretty sure, I know my mom probably moved when she had her Chiron return. We had to move with her. But that being said, Aries, this is going to put you in a position to really buckle in and truly speak your mind. And that's where, once again, like Chiron and Aries is going to have you really experience how the boldness of your own authenticity puts you in a position to piss people the fuck off, because it doesn't really conform. And it doesn't have to. This is just in the case that it does. But don't be surprised that you want to look at that as a reward, because you're pushing the limits on what challenges others. Okay. And it puts you in a position to realistically, open up in a sense of a new way to really express what it means to be the warrior, what it means to be the one. Okay. How it is you really now augment this original direction with enlightened mindsets. So that's what to look forward to. Really spend this season speaking your motherfucking mind and seeing who you piss off, right? And who you actually connect with. And you don't want to be in a position where you're letting social conformity inhibit you, unless you're being put in check because you're not being in integrity, right? But that being said, it's definitely still very significant. That's good to know. It's good to know. So yeah, that's kind of all I want to say for Aries. Mars in your fifth, right, is having you charge your own creativity and integrate that socially. So it's going to really add more passionate flair to your mindset to where you can already take action to creatively integrate that and express more talent. And that's where the opposition of Pluto could bring trust issues if you have friends hating on what you love to do versus extremely supporting it. All right. Once again, challenges are not a problem. Just don't allow people to be hating. And Venus, of course, is in your sign. So this is having you be very beautiful before you pass the rock to Taurus. It's going to aid in how well you polish yourself and how well you push forward. Saturn is the tester. You're going to be testing other people. You're going to be tested. So, for example, do you think I give a fuck if people from the outside looking in try to call me a grifter? No, I'm going to say, bitch, you don't know your chart ruler. Shut the fuck up talking to me. All right, like, period. Learn your moon sign before you talk to me. Like, that's it. And I'm going to keep it moving. And I hope that pisses them. This is that authenticity. That's that vulgarity. I hope it pisses you off because what you want to be in a position, Aries, do not let people get comfortable disrespecting you because of like some imaginary backing they have from a choir or an echo chamber. Put them on the grill, put them on the fire, test other people's authenticity. So it really is what it is. And that's how you're building courage. That's how you're building, authority. All right. Especially for those of you who are coming in your Saturn return, you're becoming authority figures. So this is going to really that's the Mars and Aries. Thank you for it right there. Mars and Aries is not playing around. Like it is what it is. But yeah, that being said, Zephyr Spiders, don't think we do not see you talking to yourself in the chat. I'm just saying, like, I don't know if you were trolling or you just having a fun ass time because you look interesting. All right, Aries do not need authority. That's hilarious. Yeah. So that being said, shout out to the Astro Guide. Oh my God, it's already over, Marilyn. The world has ended already. Now we're in a new world. We're stepping into a new world. Okay. We're so arrogant as human beings to believe that we have to be aware and observing of something to happen or it didn't happen. We are some of the most prideful and like just shamelessly arrogant beings ever. Like nothing is relevant if we didn't see it and we don't even see shit. But that being said, you feel me? This is why you are giving Aries power. Oh my God, stop. I love it. So that being said, Leo, the lead role, the Zemena character, you are under attack. All right. Pluto is in your house of ops. All right. Thankfully, you have the god of war on your side. But if you feel like people are hating on you, that's because they are. And they're mad jealous too. Now, it depends. If you're the Leo who's rubbing it in their face, you asked for it. But if you just out there, just, shining your light, don't let these people hate on you. And Mars and Leo has given you the blicky. Okay, Mars and Leo is the blicky. It's the whistleblower. It's the 7 of Wands. You might have to shoot a motherfucker so that you can finish your performance. Leo, I know that's kind of weird because, normally Leo just goes on stage and they perform. Yeah, there's people hating. At worst, they're going to throw a tomato. But Leo rising, Leo sun, Leo moon, people are just more unhinged. Like the whole Pluto at Aquarius transit is people becoming more unhinged than they've ever become. It's been progressively raising since the crash out generation was born from 95 to 2008. In fact, I'm going to find a way to blame you guys, you Gen Zers. We could kind of blame the unhinging of humanity on you, even though the boomers to Gen X and millennials have our responsibility. We could just say your existence is just making people more unhinged. So that being said, you're going to see as generation beta continues this unhingedness just by being born. It's not really that safe. Like Leo now can't just perform. Now somebody might try to pop Leo on stage. And if Leo is anything, Leo is not a bitch. Leo is not a cowardly lion. So Leo is bringing the strap with them on stage because they're still going to perform. Okay. If you think it's a coincidence that Pluto is opposite Mars and Leo and Tory Lanez got stabbed, you're asleep. Like, I don't know what else to say. I'm not going to say, oh, Rock Nation did it or this person did it. I don't give a fuck. I'm just saying if you don't see the correlation of the Lord of Death in the underworld, in the house of open enemies with Mars, the god of war, in Leo. And I look at what happens to him as something that can happen to any Leo. You feel me? Like it's not a joke. When I was saying protect Leo at all costs, that was when Saturn was going through Aquarius. Tory Lanez got locked up, Young Thug got locked up, Young Dolph got killed, Teddy Ray got drowned in a fucking pool. Like it's not a joke, bro. And now Saturn's in Aries and Libra's getting it. Do you think it's a coincidence that Saturn went through Virgo, Diddy, Virgo moon is on trial, right? Saturn is in Aries, and now DDG is in the public light. DDG, a Libra, is getting sued by Aries, Halle Berry, okay? This is not that different from Aquarius Megan, who had Saturn, who brought something to Tory. And I'm not trying to villainize them and say they're wrong for that. I'm saying look at how the planets are playing through these dynamics. So if you learn to see what's happening, it puts you in a position to at least get an idea why, especially for you Leos. And Leo, be honest with me, like comment a fire sign emoji. Pluto is showing you what it showed Cancer the past decade, showing you how evil motherfuckers are. It's taking connections with people, you know what I'm saying? And it's showing you their ulterior motives. It's showing you not just individually, a collective influence. People are acting a lot more uncharacteristic in your presence. If you find that people are a lot more impatient in your presence, throwing a lot more shade, okay? A lot of that is Hades hating. No offense. And the reason why, because Aquarius already doesn't like you. Let me be completely honest. Aquarius will say they like you, but they don't really like you. And I don't think you like them either. Y'all kind of have a unique beef like Taurus and Scorpio be beefing. They like each other, but they don't. It's giving frenemies. I'm gonna be completely honest. Like y'all like each other, but you don't. It's interesting. I don't know how to put it into words, and that's really a gross stereotype for me to say. Like just to say that Aquarius isn't Leo, but from experience, y'all are cool until you're not cool. So like that Hades opposition is actually meant over the next 20 years to awaken so much pure depth and how much more intimately you can engage, because Leo is the performer, Aquarius is the collective universal audience. So it's the relationship between you and your audience. That's the relationship between Leo and Aquarius. Now, if the audience is hating on you, if the audience is growing resentful of you, if the audience is growing resentful of what you stand for, you need the Mars blicky. So you blast them in the face and you let them know you're not a punk. Because if you let them, they will cross the line. But more realistically, once again, it's built towards more intimate engagement with your audience. When Pluto is opposite your sun, natally, people extremely love you or they extremely hate you. There's no black or white, and you may find that dynamic subtly as it's starting up. So that's something I want to take that serious. It's not a joke. It's evil as fuck at its worst. It's extremely healing and awakening at its best. So I don't want you to think that you have to really just walk around turning around. This is going to awaken partnerships with people that really put you in a position to move forward so much greater. I think Leo is supposed to be like 12 to 17, if not 22. Leo's age development range is high school, so it's where you start to develop an identity outside of home. Cancer, where you're primarily just with your parents. Leo is where, okay, now I have friends in school. Now I'm starting to rebel against my parents because I'm not just at home with my mom and dad anymore. I'm starting to make friends in school, right? But and that's where you start to have like more fun parties as a kid versus Libra. Libra is going to be like more 35 years old, like late 20s. That's where you have more mature outings. It's like you're not in college anymore. You're looking for a partner. You're not going to be up at 6 a.m., 5 a.m. drinking beer. You want to have more classy engagements. That's how you see the cycle here. But Pluto, that's in Aquarius, I want to talk about it because, yeah, we have Saturn in your ninth. Saturn and Neptune in your ninth with Venus and Chiron is in that ninth house position, or as a Leo sun and moon, it's a 240-degree angle, a Sagittarius signature to these placements. it, of course, is constructing this way of life. The North Node through your ninth actually had you create your own religion. It was using the social skills and the balanced mindset that you have. And it put you, oh, he finished. And it put you in a position to more realistically, use those skills in order to show people an original way you live your life. The exaltation of who you see yourself as. That's how I like to see ninth house Aries, because those actions you take philosophically lead to the grounded Taurus 10th house of this original independent wealth that you soloed. All right. And that's why Leo is that main character. Leo is the first hero. All right. And then Libra is also a hero. And then Virgo's in between. They're like the real social dynamics. But Leo is the hero. Libra is the activist. Right. So now that the North Node is in your 8th house, it's revisiting everything since 2023. Saturn has been warning you about. All right. I hope I haven't sounded like jaded or weird, but like be very careful who you keep around you, because Saturn in your 8th has been testing you. It's been testing other people for you. It's like, do you know you're the main character? Do you know you're like the celebrity of the zodiac? Do you know people will steal from you, even if they have to play the long game? Like 8th house Pisces is the long con. Actually, that's not what the placement is, but 8th house Pisces can sponsor the long con. There's many different placements that can. 8th house Pisces is going to stick with you. Like 8th house is other people's resources. So it's, what do you trust other people's beliefs in? Virgo's 2nd house is your analysis, your critical value, your critical thinking skills, really. And now that allows this critical perspective of your value, your social value, to be now in the 8th house bartered for what you invest in other people's beliefs. You invest in other people's beliefs. Other people's beliefs invest in you by believing in what you really have. So the Saturn in the 8th was like, do you know you can get finessed out of everything you have because you trusted somebody who really just planned to stay with you for years, knowing they were going to like finesse you, right? That's not the worst part. It's not just a bad thing. It's testing you for that, right? Because ideally, Saturn going through your 8th brings an entire world of intimacy with the right people, where you now have at a divine level locked in this trust. Might as well be a fantasy, because Leo, you're about to find out there's little to no one you can trust. But that being said, that doesn't mean that they aren't people you can not trust. That doesn't mean that there aren't people you can't. There's still probably people you can trust, right? The reason why that's important is now that Saturn has finished out of that, the North Node is unlocking all the protocol. You want to see Saturn as putting up a protocol, a wall, right? An integrity firewall. And now the North Node is going to unlock this, because what's the whole purpose of the South Node in Virgo? It's unlocking wealth and liquidity for you. And that's really the huge reason why Saturn is like, are you sure you're around people you could trust, Leo? Because y'all are about to be making money that you've never made before. Uranus is already out of your 10th house. So you have innovated the dynamic of your legacy. And then 2027 and 2029, when Saturn goes through your 10th, like Cancer is now, you're going to become an authority figure. You're going to really structure more the authority of long-lasting wealth. This is going to be your 7 of Pentacles. Boom. So something to keep in mind, because all of this will move very quickly, especially as soon as Uranus goes into Gemini, and it's going to innovate this expanded space that, of course, Jupiter has evolved in your entourage. So every 12 years, Jupiter is going to go through Gemini. It's going to expand your social following. It's going to expand how many people subscribe to you. It's going to expand how many people are in your corner. All right. It's literally expanding the perspective and space that you can say you have more true friends. But squaring the North Node of Pisces, you just want to be careful as you're exponentially coming into more of these connects, which Uranus and Jupiter going through your 11th makes sense in a social media age, because now it could kind of show how you can come into hundreds of thousands of people unexpectedly subscribing to you, following you, right? But be careful, because the North Node is going to be unlocking this wealth in your eighth that Saturn has downloaded or uploaded or brought a whole world through. You've been tested through. And if you have not passed that test, I don't want to fear monger you, but just be mindful, because you could get got. But obviously through Saturn to the eighth, I think you've experienced this, who to trust, who not to trust. It's more often than not likely that you're just going to become even richer. Okay. And it's more so the ease of efficiency. Yeah, the Leo King's Hypergate is a really great example. This is something that could, I don't know why I feel like he may break through into the mainstream. I think that's Leo's role. Leo, Libra, I think the socials are supposed to be mainstream. You know what I mean? So that'll be very interesting. But and other such Leos too, like that's what you're the main character for. But yeah, Jupiter will eventually go into Cancer, and that's what we're going to talk about. Cancer season for you guys. It's going to be a year of just surrender, releasing. You're closing out a cycle. Y'all are going to have a very impressive South Node Jupiter in Leo transit. Like the red carpet is opening up for you guys. We're debuting you guys in a way you've never been debuted before. It's like it's actually really inspirational. And that's what you want to see 2024 to 2027 as. It's the conclusion of everything you started since 2014, 2013, 2014. And it's putting you in a position to realistically conclude on the cycle of evolution you started since then. Okay. That'll be cool. Shout out to Anne. I think he does a series with Anne about history, so make sure you check that out. But yeah, other than that, I think it's really cool because now this Gemini season, in concluding the previous Leo cycle last year, is concluding on how much this circle of influence is evolving. This circle of influence is expanding to the level where your words reach more people. And that's what Uranus coming into Gemini is going to streamline with this proliferation of advanced technology. But once again, with Pluto in the seventh, just be careful who you trust. Be careful who you keep around. For a lot of you Leos, it's not 180 degrees, so it's still making a Virgo signature. If you're an early Leo, if you're like July 23, 24, 25, that motherfucker is exactly opposite you right now. Or if you're progressed there, so just be careful. The opposition in and of itself is actually a good thing. It's just, we may not live in a perfect world. I believe everything is perfect, but based on how we define perfection, which is really retarded, we're not in a perfect world. You feel me? So the energy this pure, most people can't handle it. And your presence is going to be the trigger for people to just project uncharacteristically evil shit on you. So I'm not saying that so you feel like a victim, I'm just saying that so you're careful. Okay. And other than that, I think you'll have a lot to look forward to. The Gemini season is your rewards. So you're being rewarded all this season, if that makes sense, especially if you're a Leo rising. Then all this in your 11th house is literally the rewards from the 10th house innovation of Sun Uranus, the last Sun Uranus cycle. You're having 10th house to your Sun or in your 10th house, which once again, I think is the most impressive transit most signs are going through. Uranus in the 10th is always a good look. And Virgo, you're next. So Virgo, that'll be good to see with you guys over the rest of the decade. I just get the feeling that someone's giving me stank face. I get the feeling somebody is just like giving me judging eyes. And to whoever that is, I hope an AIDS infested dick gets shoved in your mouth. That being said, vulgarity inside. Okay. Yeah. As we can see, the North Node in Pisces is unlocking wealth, and Gemini is going to be the checkpoint through which you really determine who gets into your circle of friends. Like the 8th house Pisces eclipse was the trust gate. Anyone who's past the trust gate, right? They are, of course, going to be in your circle of friends. They're going to be, sharing into this with you. And then you're coming into huge liquidity. Like the whole September South Node Virgo thing is you manifesting this wealth that's been promised to you for 2 years. All right. That you've been working towards, that you've been building. We've established it. 10th house Virgo, that solid fixedness will be mutable and you're going to be even richer. All right. That being said, yep, that's the Mars and Aries coming out right there. I'm not Tyler Tarot. By the way, shout out to Tyler Tarot. I hit him up on his live yesterday. He's still down to meet. So I'm going to do Peace Talk season 2, and I'm going to start that with him. He's going to come back from Georgia, and then we could do that. I'm not Tyler, but I do have my Mars there. So, I'll say some slick shit too. It is what it is. We're not going to be disrespectful here. That being said, though, oh my God, that's crazy. That being said, though, Leo, enjoy this next 30 days. This is about who you're around, who belongs around you, and who you can freely express what you truly want to express. If you feel like you're going to be canceled chilling with some people, those are not your friends. They're spies. All right. I feel like Leo does this, right? But this might happen to you, Leo. The whole idea of people recording conversations so that they can take what you said out of context and make you look crazy. I would just assume, regardless of zodiac sign, but especially Leo, Libra, Virgo, I would just assume that most people you're talking to are recording your conversation. They're recording what's being said so that they can use it. They want you to say some out-of-pocket shit so that they can use it and be like, this is what this person is. I don't want you to be paranoid, but if you ever feel that, it's because that's what's happening. All right. Last but not least, Sagittarius, Swaggitarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, Progress, Natal, you name it. Okay. Rising, Progressed Rising, like I just said, I literally just repeat all that. So yeah. Unlike Aries, who's going through third stage activation, Leo is going through second stage completion. Sag, you're going through first stage harvest. Okay. Gemini is your first stage harvest. Cancer is your second stage harvest, 8th house of transformation. And then Leo is your last stage of harvest before Virgo, first stage completion. Okay. So Mars in Leo is having you ahead of time take action in necessary social places, stages, and arenas, okay, that once we come into August, you're going to be aware with the Sun in Leo of what actions you had to take. And this is where now Sagittarius, I like Swaggitarius rather than Vegetarius. I love that. This is where now, especially if you're Sag rising or Sun or Moon, specifically rising, and we can say Sun, Pluto in your third house is a problem. Pluto in your third house in Aquarius is aimbot. So it's not a problem for you. It's a problem for people like me. It's a problem for everyone else. But like, yeah, it's definitely very significant in that it's important to really discuss what that really is. And this is where if you're Sag rising, if you're Sagittarius Sun, I would like for you to confirm this for me. And I would like for you to comment sniper in the chat. Basically, Pluto in the third house over the next 20 years is awakening claircognizant knowledge of what you already see. So any Sagittarius Sun is actually able to see somewhat outside of reality. And this is what enables them to look into meaning of a situation and interpretation very well. Pluto in the third house is now automatically awakening the knowledge of certain visions they see. So it's awakening an extreme level of claircognizance that feels like nigh omniscience. And it's going to feel weird as fuck because it's stretching outside of your critical brain's ability to realistically, process the third dimension, extra dimensional phenomena. And whereas Saturn since 2021 to 2023 structured the foundation for this facet of your mindset to be established, Pluto is awakening the extreme nature of how you just know. And I want to open up the idea that it wasn't always like this. If you're commenting sniper, right? I want to open up to the idea that pre-2021 and pre-2024, you would know what you see, but you would just need to like look into it. It's like, oh, I see this is about to happen. Let me do a little research, right? It's like your brain would have to process maybe 5 to 10, 15 minutes. Boom, you get confirmation. Versus now with Pluto, it's instant or before you even see it. So Pluto in Aquarius is you're just gaining a knowing and then you're seeing the vision, which now is dangerous because there's almost no more lag time between your interpretation of an experience and instantly knowing what it means. Okay, something that, of course, is getting ready to transform the way you even communicate to people. And that's why, in order to really understand the significance of your OG in your ops sign, by the way, Sagittarius, your OG hooked us up. So like, it went through Gemini land. I'm one of like the managers of Gemini land, of course. I'm not being biased here. And Jupiter saw our 3 facilities, Zeus, and it was like, wow, this was really cool. Is that it? Mind you, these are 3 big ass facilities. Like it's taking you a while to go through one, right? Zeus was like, nah, 3 ain't enough. And he bankrolled and expanded Gemini land. And now we have like 12 extra facilities. Okay, like we have expanded. Your OG hooked us up. Okay, so now we had like the 3 facilities were good, but Jupiter was like, we need more. We need to make this a global thing, and that's what it's been doing in Gemini. Okay, I'm not the only manager of Gemini land. You have certain prominent Geminis that are like, I'm not here most of the time because we have to manage Gemini land. Gemini land is a mental plane of existence that's parallel or adjacent to the real world. And a lot of air signs, we be there. Like when you're talking to us and it sounds like we're not paying attention, I'm in Gemini land. Like a lot of like even this, this is 30% of my autopilot body. 70% of me is in Gemini land. And we're finishing up the expansion so we can prepare for launch coming at the end of Gemini Cancer season. New facilities. So that's why for Sagittarius, you're harvesting, right, that 6-month arc from Sagittarius of last year to Gemini season. The reason why Gemini is first stage harvest is you activate the vision during your birthday in December. You manifest the integrity in Capricorn. You activate the knowledgeable quality of your vision in Aquarius. You know what you see. Then you begin to integrate the belief around this vision. What beliefs support your vision? You fully express the application of those beliefs through the creativity of your authenticity and how originally you create. Then you integrate in grounded fashion in Taurus with natural values that tie literally everything together so that this grounded quality of your vision expresses through Gemini, and you truth blast people. You express the truth of your vision. That's why Sagittarius is show and Gemini is tell. That's why Gemini is the word of the dictionary and Sag is the meaning of the word. It is an axis. It is the most magical axis in the zodiac Pisces doesn't count to me. Pisces and Virgo is more of a state of reality versus dreams. But Sag and Gemini is the process of vocalizing and visualizing that meaning. This is one of the most important aspects of magic, because if you don't think it, if you don't see it or visualize it, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. All right. So that being said, or it's more accurate to say it always happens. You just have to be aware of what you're thinking and seeing. But that being said, yeah. So you have Pisces world, you have Gemini land, you have the Virgo society, right? Gemini land is really cool because it's open to all ages. So anyone can get into Gemini land. Once you start to apply the Virgo society, you need to take applications. Virgo is very finicky. So like Virgo is not going to, it's harder to get into the Virgo society than it is to get into an Ivy League school. They're very selective. They only want like the creme de la creme. And then you have Sag Park. Sagittarius Park is like only the elites are allowed. Like if you're in Sag Park, anyone can get tickets to Gemini land. Like that's why people like Gemini land, because it's the lowest bar of entry. They don't deny anyone. Once you get to the Virgo society waiting list, Sag Park is invite only. So you can't even get into Sag Park. It's the most exclusive park. And then you have Pisces world. Pisces world can only be accessed through lucid dreams, or you get summoned there. All right. Pisces world is legit though. Everything is in Pisces world. But Sag Park is like the creme de la creme. You feel me? Like the only reason why I can go into Sag Park right now is if I marry a Sagittarius, if I'm +1 with a Sag. Thankfully, Jupiter is in Gemini for that year. We have like a yearly pass to Sag Park, but they're very selective. Like they don't like to accept some Geminis because we're their ops. So like as a Gemini, like I need to like be friends with a Sag. Like it's that exclusive. You can +1 Sag Park with a friend though. You can get into Sag Park if you're +1 to a Sag or someone who's invited. They invite a lot more Libras. Aquariuses always get invites to Sag Park. Y'all are bougie as fuck. But I get it. I get Sag Park is lit. If you made it to Sag Park, you made it. You feel me? We were in Gemini. Like, bring your kids here to Gemini land, though. Bring your kids. They gonna love it. You feel me? We not too uppity to where, we don't, and we accept all of you. It's cool. It is what it is. Okay. Forest Fairy Tarot, it's cool. Nah, she don't have to. I've already moved on a long time ago. It's just I'm still gonna talk about my bae who don't know she my bae. It's cool. It's cool. As long as she happy, maybe she will one day. I doubt it, but I ain't tripping. Maybe we'll meet one day. It is what it is. That being said, oh my God, that's crazy. And that being said, you trying to get me in trouble, Marilyn. So yes, the reason why I wanted to talk about Aquarius, now that we know that Pluto in Aquarius is awakening this claircognizant sense of higher knowledge, of more celestial, supernatural quality of your mindset. Why is this important? Sagittarius is a universal perspective. If you think of like a Bill Nye the Science Guy that talks about the universe, talks about space, it is the ascended perspective. It points universal. It opens up the way to cosmic awareness. So putting Pluto in Aquarius is awakening more universal knowledge of their universal ascended perspective, which is dangerous because now the third house trine to the 7th in Gemini makes more extreme, makes more poignant a lot of what you're communicating. This is also opening up the most dramatic and unnecessary sense of telepathy for you. So it's been blasting people's thoughts. Like I can imagine being a Sagittarius, you can literally see people's thought bubbles. Okay. Oh my God. I don't know what's going on in my love life. I don't think I still have a love life. I still think I just talk to people in my head imaginarily. But hey, I wouldn't mind getting with Libra. You feel me? Libra can have my babies. It's cool. That's one of those signs that's verified. You feel me? Oh my God, that was so dumb. I'm sorry. But that being said, Sagittarius could always see your thought bubbles. You feel me? Elisha, you understand? Their higher selves be hitting me up. Their higher selves be hitting us up, fam. And it's like, yo, talk to your 3D self. She curving me. They're like, don't worry. She's still awakened. It's cool. Hey, Elisha, that's the realest shit I ever heard. Thank you. I'm glad I'm not the only one. See, a lot of people don't have that astral connect. You feel me? They just be showing you synchronicities and shit. Oh, you was thinking about me today? Okay. Yeah, Gemini land, Pisces world. A lot of this takes place in Pisces world. But like, yeah, son. Oh my God. So yeah, it be like that. So, Sagittarius could always see your thought bubbles, but now I could imagine you can't not hear people's thoughts. You can't not see people's thoughts. Okay. And it's putting you in a position to now change forever how much more directly, how much more extremely you can penetrate people's minds. Jupiter, since 2019, has evolved you. And now it is harvesting this evolution of your partnerships. It's putting you more in a position to realistically kind of establish that, and I think that it really will put you more in that position to kind of open up more moving forward how much you've evolved since 2019, because now Jupiter getting ready to go into Cancer is going to expand your wealth and who you trust in that 8th house with other people's money. But yeah, what I want to really bring to your attention is Pluto in the 3rd, Gemini in the 7th. You're awakening your mindset. This extreme mindset is being directly expressed from your attitude in the 3rd towards people in Gemini. And this is the first year that that's happening. What I can imagine, so Sagittarius, confirm if this is true for me. What that looks like to me is that you have always been blunt. You've always been aware of what you can say and what will piss people off. And now that Pluto is in the 3rd, you're not holding back anymore. It's like you're okay with saying the extreme things that make you sound alien and weird, but like is so true it makes people uncomfortable. Like that's kind of over the next 20 years, it's inhibiting what you feel like communicating, making conversations with people that much more extreme, awakening people to a more supernatural cosmic level of understanding. I know that sounds vague and contrived, but and with Mars and Aries, no chill. And I'm glad you mentioned Aries, Alba, because now Saturn and Neptune in your 5th house, right, is going to be a 2.5-year chapter of constructing your inner child, of making more serious what you love to do, going back to the drawing board when it comes to what you love to do, if that makes sense. Transcending this facet of your creativity by adding more authority and discipline to how you even have fun. And that checkpoint in between that nature of your 7th to 3rd house is going to be the focal point to how this constructed of creativity allows you to communicate this to people with more control. All right. And I think it should feel like maybe if the past 6 years brought a lot of struggles and bumps in relationships, you had to kiss a few frogs. Now it's smooth. And a lot of that is because of the work you did on your value. You upgraded your what you're worth. You stood more on what you believe. You've created this 4th house Pisces foundation that the eclipse in the fourth house in March unlocked everything you believe is meant to be this foundation. Because now when we come into September, you're going to analyze how your own career success allocates to this place. When I had the South Node in my 10th house, that was when I moved to Vegas, and the success I gained from being able to do this full time. North Node into my fourth, I was able to get a new apartment. Like I was destined to get a space here that I could do this. So it's really good for career. And Gemini is the checkpoint. Gemini is who are you bringing with you? Who do you trust with private beliefs? And who are you bringing with you to the top, right? Who do you trust that won't be incompetent and hold you back? So fire, that's what we got for you. I hope you enjoyed this transit forecast. You heard me. I hope you enjoy this Gemini season. A very opportune period and opportunity to realistically clear up any confusion. The more you communicate, the better. So people who are trying to use your communication against you, they're snitching on themselves. And don't let anyone play you. That being said, we're going to do the live reading that we have. Thank you, of course, Golden Jewel and Supreme. We know you are the activist, the artist. You're the original artist, like Cardi B, like the original activist, like Kamala Harris, right? Hater or lover. This is main character energy. All right. The Aries rising, you're the prototype, you're the original. So the Aries moon in Aries rising is significant. You embody the high priestess archetype with moon on the rising. So you are the intuitive priestess of authenticity. You can feel who people really are, if they're fugazi, if they're fake versus if they're real. It's the cool thing about Aries moon. And that authenticity projects through your Libra sun as the activist. You're going to balance things more raw. You're going to feel the raw. And that's why I like the opposition. It's like Cardi B is classy as fuck, but she's raw as fuck. And she can balance both. Like she can show up looking Libra gorgeous, but she's still going to tell you to suck her fucking dick. Like that's the Aries moon. That's the balance here. So the Aries, and like, that's hard to balance. It's not the easiest to balance. So like the Aries rising with Saturn and Neptune going through here is having you embody this authority. It's having you transcend this sense of authenticity that you embody. And it's putting you more in a position to prepare for the subsequent Libra season that's going to harvest all the original actions you're taking now. So Aries in March, late April, or late March to April was you activating this sense of shift. And now Gemini, with all this in your third house, is activating the mindset of such, which as a Libra sun, Gemini season, you're going to be aware of 240 degrees from your sun, Sag signature. So it's you being aware of the true meaning of your attitude, of your mindset. And as a Libra sun, what's the true meaning as that applies socially with other people? Of course, the focus for now is going to be on that raw individuality and how Gemini really is the wind that allows brevity for you to speak your mind. And the more you can speak your mind, the better. All right. Because that's what's going to shape this direction of authenticity you're getting ready to establish. That being said, we're going to end here and we will reconvene tomorrow with the Earth Tribe report. Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Y'all stay blessed as always.